If I ever see you sewing again, I will throw you out of my house.
No, please, I'm sorry.
In the heart of Lagos, a woman stitched her dreams in silence, but when her husband discovered the truth, he threw her out. What he didn't know was that her needle was sharper than his pride. What would you do if the person who doubted you became the one begging for your success? And also don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. And comment where you are watching from. Lagos was a city that never paused to breathe. Even at dawn, when the sky still hovered between night and morning, the streets of age were already alive. Buses growled, hawkers called out their goods, and generators hummed like restless spirits. It was in this ceaseless movement that Hannah lived with her husband, Kofi, in a cramped two-room apartment painted a tired shade of cream. Kofi believed Lagos was not a place for dreams, it was a place for endurance. Each day, he worked as a bus conductor, clinging to moving vehicles, shouting destinations, collecting fares, and arguing with passengers. To him, survival was proof of wisdom. Anything beyond that felt reckless. Hannah saw the city differently. Before marriage, she had learned sewing from her aunt in Mushin, spending long afternoons tracing patterns and studying fabrics. She loved the way cloth transformed under her fingers, how a simple stitch could turn plain material into something beautiful. Sewing gave her peace. It made her feel useful, hopeful, alive. She dreamed of owning a tailoring shop, nothing extravagant. Just a small space with a sewing machine, a mirror, and customers who trusted her hands. She believed that if she worked hard enough, her dream would grow. When she tried to share this with Kofi, he dismissed it with laughter. Lagos will humble you, he told her one night as they ate dinner. You think sewing will save us? Focus on your duties. Hannah tried again another time, explaining how she could contribute to the household income. But Kofi's mind was closed. He believed ambition made women disrespectful. So Hannah stopped speaking. But silence did not kill her dream. Instead, she began to sew in secret. With money saved from small errands and food allowances, she bought a second-hand sewing machine. She hid it behind a curtain near the window. At night, when Kofi slept deeply, Hannah worked. The machine's gentle sound blended into the noise of the city. Moonlight guided her needle as she stitched blouses, wrappers, and children's clothes. She sold them quietly. The money was small, but the hope was large. Each stitch felt like a promise, to herself, to her future. Unknowingly, Hannah was building something that could not be easily destroyed. The day Kofi discovered the truth began without warning. The sun rose fiercely that morning, and Hannah followed her routine, cleaning, cooking, praying. Kofi left for work as usual, shouting goodbye. Hannah waited until the house was quiet before pulling out her sewing machine. She had a dress to finish, one meant for a neighbor's celebration. She was halfway done when the door creaked open. Kofi had returned early. A bus had broken down. He stopped when he heard the sound. Ah! He followed it, his anger rising with every step. When he entered the room and saw Hannah bent over the machine, fabric spread neatly before her, something inside him snapped. So this is what you've been hiding, he shouted. Hannah stood slowly, fear tightening her chest. I wanted to help us, she said gently. I can make money. But Kofi would not listen. He accused her of deceit, of disrespect, of choosing ambition over obedience. His voice drew neighbors to the door. In rage, he grabbed the fabric and flung it across the room. If you love this machine so much, he yelled, then leave with it. Hannah tried to explain, tried to calm him, but pride had sealed his ears. Without mercy, Kofi threw Hannah out of the house, her belongings shoved into a bag, her sewing machine dragged behind her. That night, Hannah slept on the floor of a friend's room, tears soaking her pillow. But even in pain, her hands remained steady. "They can chase me away," she whispered, "but they cannot take what God put in me." And she continued sewing. Life after being thrown out of her home did not soften Hannah, it tested her. Lagos had no sympathy for broken hearts. Bills still came, hunger still knocked, and rain still leaked through cracked roofs. Hannah moved from one borrowed space to another, sleeping on thin mats, waking before dawn with the same question each day: how long can I endure this? Yet, every morning, she rose with her needle in hand. She sewed wherever she was allowed, under staircases in Mushin, behind kiosks in Ojuelegba, inside cramped rooms where generators coughed endlessly. She repaired school uniforms for mothers who couldn't afford new ones. She altered dresses for brides who wanted beauty on a budget. Sometimes she was paid in cash, sometimes in food, sometimes in promises that never came. Still, Hannah never complained. Her sewing became her prayer. Each stitch reminded her that rejection had not erased her purpose. Even when exhaustion weighed her down, she whispered encouragement to herself. "If I stop now, they were right." Slowly, her name began to move from mouth to mouth. "Go to that woman, Hannah. Her hands are blessed." Customers came, then returned, then sent others. Though her earnings were small, her confidence grew. She saved carefully, folding money into old envelopes hidden beneath her mattress. One day, after a particularly long and discouraging afternoon, Hannah found herself standing before a lottery seller near Ojuelegba bus stop. She hesitated. The money in her hand was her last for the week. But something inside her, quiet, steady, said, "Try." She bought the ticket. Days passed. Life continued. Sewing. Struggle. Waiting. Then the news broke. A woman from age had won 10 million Nigerian nairas. When the confirmation came, Hannah's legs failed her. She sat on the floor of a small room, staring at the ticket in her hand as tears streamed freely. She laughed. She cried. She knelt and thanked God, not for the money alone, but for the vindication. She did not rush foolishly. With careful planning, Hannah rented a shop in Surulere, a place buzzing with opportunity. She bought industrial sewing machines, hired 2 young girls, and registered her business. She painted the walls cream and gold and placed her name boldly above the door. Hannah Stitches. From that moment, everything changed. Her designs appeared at weddings, churches, birthday parties, and fashion shows. Influencers wore her clothes. Customers lined up. Young girls came to learn under her guidance. Hannah paid salaries, mentored others, and gave back to women who reminded her of herself. She was no longer surviving. She was thriving. Regret did not arrive suddenly for Kofi. It crept in quietly, like Lagos traffic after midnight. Slow at first, then impossible to escape. At first, it was small things. The silence in the room when he returned from work. The way food tasted flat, without Hannah's careful touch. The way the house no longer felt like a home, only a shelter where a man slept and woke alone. He told himself he was better off. He told himself he had been right. But Lagos has a way of exposing lies people tell themselves. On buses, at junctions, in markets, Kofi began to hear a name that unsettled him. Women spoke of beautiful dresses sewn with precision. Brides bragged about fittings that felt like royalty. Apprentices praised a woman who trained them with patience and kindness. Hannah Stitches, they said. Each time, the name landed like a stone in Kofi's chest. He tried to ignore it. He tried to convince himself it was coincidence, another Hannah, another tailor. But deep inside, he knew. The city was talking about the woman he once threw out with her sewing machine and broken dignity. Life, meanwhile, had not been gentle with him. Work became harder. Money slipped through his fingers. Friends drifted away. Pride could not cook meals or keep loneliness company at night. In quiet moments, memories returned uninvited, the way Hannah bent over fabric with focus, the way her hands moved with confidence, the calm determination he mistook for disobedience. He remembered the day he chased her out. The neighbors watching. The anger that felt powerful then, but now tasted bitter. One afternoon, after overhearing yet another conversation praising Hannah's stitches, Kofi made a decision he had avoided for years. He would see her. The shop stood in Surulere, bold and alive. Cream and gold paint reflected the afternoon sun. Through the glass doors, he saw movement, machines humming, customers laughing, young women working with pride. Success filled the space like perfume. Kofi stood across the street for a long time, his feet heavy with hesitation. This was not the small dream he mocked. This was an empire built from stitches and silence. When Hannah finally stepped outside, his breath caught. She walked with confidence. Her clothes fit perfectly, her posture upright, her face calm and self-assured. There was no trace of the frightened woman he expelled years ago. This Hannah had been shaped by hardship and crowned by perseverance. Hannah, he called softly. She stopped. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. The noise of Lagos roared around them, but between them, everything felt still. Hannah's eyes held no anger, only clarity. I was wrong, Kofi said, his voice unsteady. I didn't understand you then. She listened. She had learned that silence was sometimes the loudest response. I see now, he continued. You were trying to build something. I let pride blind me. I've suffered. I've changed. Let me come back. I will support your dreams. Hannah took a slow breath. In her mind, memories rose like waves, sleeping on cold floors, sewing with tired hands, choosing courage when fear begged her to quit. She remembered praying not for revenge, but for strength. She remembered becoming strong. No, she said gently. Kofi flinched. You didn't believe in me when belief mattered, Hannah continued. You rejected my dream before it had a chance to breathe. I survived without you. I built this without you. I forgive you, she added quietly. But forgiveness does not mean return. Tears gathered in Kofi's eyes, but Hannah's decision stood firm. I choose peace, she said. I choose the woman I became. She turned and walked back into her shop. The door closed behind her, not with anger, but with finality. Outside, Kofi stood alone as Lagos continued its endless movement. And the elders say, when a woman stitches her destiny with pain and perseverance, even love must knock, and sometimes
please,
it
don't
will
make
not
me
be
go.
answered.
You have to leave now.